Today we're going to drop zombies down giant slides into an inescapable blender. Keep watching to learn how to build the space design and what tips and tricks you'll need to use to optimize its effectiveness and to prevent all cop spit. You know, as long as you don't go outside. Ouch. Welcome, survivors. This is Eerie Knight of the Pseudo Posse. Hey, up here. Welcome, survivors. Today I got bored. Zombies always running up a path to your location. That is the go-to type of design that you'll see in 99% of bases. What if instead of running across a pathway, they slide instead? What's the point, you may ask? Well, I don't know. It's just cool. I think that's a good enough reason. I've constructed this little proof of concept here. The danger with creating a longer roundabout route for zombies to reach you is that they may choose the easier path. That easier path could ultimately be that they decide to pound on your fighting position till they collapse it. So I've created this little test setup. Don't worry, I'll show you how to build it in a moment. And I want to see if they'll climb up the back and go down the slide. No point in continuing to show you all the rest if this doesn't work. This is very encouraging. Zombies are choosing to climb up the ladder and slide down to us rather than beating on our platform. And once they reach the bottom, they are circling back around to climb up again. Despite us being very close to them, they are still choosing to go the long route. This gives me hope that we can make some viable bases out of this. Let's start with a simple base design that you could build early game. So now that we're in a nice empty field, we're going to start with constructing the slide. For our early game horde base, let's make this a bit smaller and only construct the slide 3 blocks wide. We'll use the tried and true wedge and arrow blocks as zombies see them as a path despite their complete inability to walk across them. Starting with the high wedge and arrow at the bottom, we'll work our way up, culminating in the tips placed at the top. Next, build some supports up to the level of the tips and start the cycle again. As you can see, we have doubled our height here, but let's go up a bit further. Again, we will need the supports in the back. But how about, since we are constructing a base, we put a little storage in here for our stuff. There are a couple chests, some stairs to get to it. There. A couple chests, some stairs to get in. To provide some extra protection, let's not place the door at the very bottom, rather 1 block up. That way we can still hop in to access our belongings. While constructing a ladder will save on materials, it is a bit less reliable than stairs. So, though it'll take some extra blocks, let's make some stairs for this design. Ladders can work, just be sure to have enough of them in case one or more is destroyed through the course of a horde. Actually, let's still include some ladders on the sides here to create a shorter route for zombies to climb up. This way we have the stairs and ladders, so in case they take out the ladders, the stairs will still serve as a backup. Along the path upwards, we'll put stair blocks to make it easier for zombies to climb. Forcing them to jump will slow them, but will also force them to collect and bunch up, increasing the likelihood they'll destroy the blocks instead. So we want to make their path to the slide quick and easy so we can just keep funneling them along all night long. Finally, our platform where we will be standing. Nothing special. Let's construct a 3x3 platform with a ladder for us to get on top. Make sure to place it 2 blocks above the ground, otherwise zombies will climb that instead. Now, zombies at this point won't use the slide either. The slide doesn't directly reach us, so to complete the design, we will add the pillar 0.025 meter half-side centered blocks from our platform to the slide. Now, this is key. We want to place these blocks such that the pillar shape is on the opposite side of the cube volume from the slide. This is key as we want to create a gap between the slide and the shape, so zombies will fall right through the gap and not land on the pillars. And that should be that. Zombies should never land on the path as they'll be sliding down too fast and completely fall through the gap. This design can serve as a great AFK base, or you could use it to shoot at zombies after they fall down. But that is not the end, my friends. We can do more. I'm always trying to find useful ways to incorporate blade traps, as they are just so damn fragile they can be unreliable to use. I think this design could work well with them. They slide down and fall into a bunch of blade traps, then they need to run through some more blade traps to get back up to the slide. If we make the fighting platform close enough to the blades, we could repair them throughout the night to keep them lasting as long as possible. Sounds like a good concept to me. Let's get started. We shall start in the same way, constructing our slide, only this time we'll make it wider to accommodate the stronger late game horde. Before we build the entire slide, I find it helpful if we kind of lay out the foundation a bit first. This way we can map out how everything will align and be placed. God forbid I accidentally misalign something, making it not symmetric after already building a lot of the base. Horror. So let's map it out and see if we need to tweak things so we don't need to tear down everything just to make it symmetric. Let's put the perimeter of our fighting position right around here-ish, close enough for us to repair the blade traps. Actually, I'm going to place down the blade traps just to measure where things will go. I'd like to place 2 rows of blade traps stacked for 8 total. And with all the traps in place, we'll need to put the wall of our base right up against the second blade trap row. We want this to be as tight and confined as possible so zombies have to get hit by the blade traps no matter where they move. To both anti-rage zombies after they fall and keep them close to the blade traps as much as possible, I'm going to put electric fence posts running from behind the slide and my wall. Let's clear some space so we can put the fence posts in, and on the base side, I'll put a corresponding row of fence posts. The next step will be to repeat this. Now, for a late game base, you'll only need 1 or 2 good-sized slides. However, my symmetry OCD won't allow for this, so I'll be making 4 slides for each face of my base. Overkill? Absolutely. Necessary? Definitely not. Will I still do it? Yes. As all you can see at this point, we have more or less laid out the foundations of this design. We've got our 4 slides and our central platform where we'll be positioned. In between, we've got our blade traps where zombies will land, and we have our electric fence posts and tripwire set up. These are located behind the slides and in the base interior. We will make the repairable end of the fence posts on the interior so we can repair throughout the night. Speaking of wiring, we've got a lot of that to do. To make our electric fence posts within the base, the repairable end, we'll wire the tripwire from inside to the other side behind the slide. From this tripwire, connected to the fence post directly in front of it. Finally, run the wire from this fence post to the one inside the base. Now we need to repeat this for all the remaining traps. Fun. With that done, things are looking good. Now it's time to protect our traps on the slide end. You can do this however you like, just build some walls around the traps and a doorway to enter inside in case you need to make any repairs or rewire things later on if a trap breaks. The plan will be to build the remaining part of the slide on top of the structure. Now it's time to build upwards. This part is quite repetitive and basically the same as I showed previously with the early game base. I'll save on some blocks by not filling in all the gaps as I build up supports for the slide higher up, but we'll just keep repeating this process till we reach a suitable height. We probably won't need to build as high as I am, but higher is more fun. Whee! See? Much more fun. The finished slide looks something like this. You'll also notice walls extending from the slide to the base, leaving a small gap. This is where zombies will run out of the blade trap region to climb back up. I intend to block the open sections with something, but I need to be careful as if the zombies see the obstruction as a path, they'll try to use that instead of our pillar blocks. I decided to go with the security gate shapes as zombies won't try to run across that if they happen to land there, so that should be sufficient in closing off the side to create one exit point for the zombies. Now I decided to go with ladders for this design. Those stairs are more consistent. Like I mentioned previously, it would take a huge amount of material to create the stairs of that size needed for the height of this slide. Also, you'd run into the problem with the entry point to the stairs being too far away for zombies to want to path back after falling down the slide. So, ladders it is. Now for our pillars. Like before, we'll place the same shape from the slide to our base. And again, I want to emphasize the need to make the gap on the side of the slide so zombies will fall through it. Okay, time to do some interior base construction. I want to reduce the chance of them trying to break through our base and come up to us instead of using the slide. Toward that end, I decided to place some blocks inside here that zombies will not see as a path. This way, they'll think they have no way up if they were to break in, thus stopping them from even trying. In theory, at least. So I've removed the blocks surrounding our central column here, and we need to dig down. The reason being, if we place our non-pathable blocks directly on top, zombies will see it as a path. So we need some separation from the ground to these blocks. You'll want at least a couple blocks height between the ground and these blocks, but I'll dig a bit deeper. Finally, time to place our blocks. We'll be using the window plate circle empty as zombies do not see these as a path. Go check out our Alpha 21 entry blocks video for other blocks you can use to prevent zombies from pathing. Now we need to power all of our traps. To keep things organized, I'll use left switches for the tripwire and fence posts. The right switches will be used for the blade traps. I'll do this all around and keep things consistent so I know how everything will be connected. Up to this point, all the functional part of the base is in place. The rest is personal preference. I'll walk you through the final build before testing. At the bottom here, we have our gap that zombies will run out from after falling down the slide. Within this kill zone, we can see the blade traps and wires running across. On the other side of the wall with the gap is a closed off wall comprised of security gates. This will force zombies out the one way so they can get hit by the blade traps. The crux of this design is of course the pillar blocks and the slide. Exiting this section and heading toward the slide, we can see the doors here which give us access to the traps on the other side underneath the slide. These are not the repairable end of the fence post posts, so we won't have to run out here during the night to repair. Up the ladders, zombies will climb, and upon reaching the top, will fall down. From up here, you could see blade traps on our roof to protect against vultures while we are inside. Sliding down, zombies will pass through the gaps like this, down into the kill zone where we just were. This setup is identical for all 4 slides. Now, if zombies were smart, they jump like this, but this is how we'll get inside. For those who have not seen our cop spit videos, links to both of those in the description below. I've used some anti-cop spit strategies here. Shutter doors instead of hatches, as cops will not puke at those. Hatches are absolute cop spit bait. Furthermore, walls are all constructed using full blocks, which will also prevent cops from spitting. On the inside, you can see the interior roof is not just a flat cube block ceiling. Fortunately, you can get away with designing a more intricate roof without triggering cop spit. So you're not just limited to a boring cube-shaped base with all cube blocks just to prevent cop spit. Just don't use plate blocks, as those are absolute cop puke magnets. The railing blocks here are placed on the floor such that we can aim through and repair fence posts through the Horde as needed without needing to run downstairs. If we were to go down there, recall, we've placed those blocks that don't serve as a path, so they may lose the direct path to us and start beating on the base itself. So we'll stay up here, and down below is where all of our traps are stored along with our generators. Back on the outside, you'll notice some non-cube meter blocks on our base. These won't trigger cop spit. Well, hopefully, as I really don't want a boring cube box base. Okay, time for our first test. Looks like zombies are totally climbing the ladders up and falling down the slide into the pit of despair. And very importantly, cops are not spitting at all. As long as we don't open the shutters, they will not spit. Looks like that part worked. However, there is one issue. The blade traps closest to the slide are hard to reach for repairs, which means we can't keep them alive for very long. Clearly, we cannot reach the blade traps from standing here. We could try to use our existing pillar pathway to periodically run outside to repair. It can definitely reach the back blade traps, but it is very easy to fall down. And in the heat of battle, that could easily happen. Since zombies never reach the pillars anyway, I think we can make the ones closer to the base easier for us to walk on. Instead of using the thin, half-sized pillars, I'm going to go with the thicker, full-length ones. This will be much easier to walk across and allow me to reach the rear blade traps. Another convenience thing that will be nice is if I color code the shutters that have the pillar paths on the outside. That way I can speedily access the correct shutters to reach the pillar pathway if need be. So let's give this a shot. Well, that definitely works a lot better for repairing the blade traps in the back. I'm liking this a lot better. I think this will do. Nope. Design flaw. Running outside makes me too vulnerable to vultures, and they can swoop down and knock me down into my own traps. That isn't ideal. Let's go ahead and add an overhang to protect ourselves. Again, I do not want to use boring cube meter blocks, so I'll tempt fate and try something else to protect us. I'll use the cube corner arch and some half blocks to extend the roof over our heads when we pop out for repairs. To cap that off, I'll put some blade traps above us to trim the beaks off those dang birds. Time for another test. Well, I seem to have solved the bird dilemma. No birds are knocking me off my pillars, but yikes! Spiders are now causing us issue. They're doing the same thing as the birds, but from below. I'll need to fix that. I know a simple solution. Just place some bars to protect ourselves from the spiders. We should still be able to throw grenades and molotovs, so this should be fine. I believe that will be that. Time to do a proper horde now. Initiate Taco Magical Horde montage. Hit it. was fun. Definitely be careful with demos. They can wreck the blade traps pretty damn quick. We lost a bit over half of them, but I think that could be reduced by being more careful. My desire to get cool shots for Taco in editing probably didn't make for effective fighting. That being said, this worked very well, and if you wanted to AFK this type of base, basically don't use blade traps at all, as they will go down very fast. Just let them repeat the loop. Props will only spit if you go outside, but if you keep the shutters closed, the blocks used in this base will not trigger their spit. On that note, hope you all enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this in the future. And a special shout out to all of our patrons whose support keeps the quality of this channel going. This is Eerie Knight signing off. See you all in the next one.